Alright guys, today we're going to talk about reporting orders, requests, and advice. So when you see the word reporting, you know that this is about reporter speech. Okay? And orders, requests, and advice, they usually begin with imperatives. To make it simple, imperatives, they are sentences started with verb. Stop talking. So here, stop is the verb, and talking, okay, it is a gerund. It functions as a noun. You don't see a subject here. We always say that a sentence that should be a subject, but this is another example. No subject, only verb. So the structure is reporting verb plus to infinitive. But it is a bit abstract, so let's look at examples. Okay, so reporting verbs, they are reporting verbs for orders. Okay, the first category, okay, orders. Tell, instruct, order. And these are pretty strong words. And then your mom tells you to do something, your teacher instructs you to do something, okay. Your brother orders you to do something. Okay. You don't order your teacher to do something, right? Okay, these are very strong words. So don't use them randomly. Okay. Careful with the tone, okay, the situation. So let's look at the examples. Stay away from lions, said the zebra's father. Okay, the zebra's father told her to stay away from lions. Okay, the zebra's father told her to stay away from lions. Look at these two sentences. Look at the similarities. Look at the difference. Stay away from lions. Stay away from lions. Okay. They are exactly the same. Okay. We don't need to change that. We don't need to change anything, okay, here. But what are changed? The zebra's father. Okay. The zebra's father. Okay. These words, they are moved to the beginning of the sentence. And the word and the verb said is changed to told, because this is like an order. Okay. Stay away from the lions or else you'll get eaten. Okay. The zebra's father told her to stay away from lions. And here, stay, okay, is the verb, but it is changed to stay. Okay. It become a to infinitive. Okay. This is something that, okay, I've mentioned here. To infinitive. The verb, this is originally a verb. Okay. The verb stay is changed to stay. Okay. Okay. This is not a verb anymore. Okay. The verb of this sentence is here, told. Okay. You have to be careful with that. Okay. And since this is reporting orders, this is reporter speech, okay, this is past tense. So another situation is requests, but they are all the same. Okay. Only the difference is the reporting verb. Okay. To report requests, we use ask, beg, and request. Okay. These are less strong words. I will use the word mild. Okay. These are more mild because you ask people to do something. You request. Okay. You can request your teacher to do something for you. You can request your mom to do something for you. You can request your father to do something for you. Okay. Examples. Help me take a photo with the giraffe, please. Okay, you can see the word please here. And of course, if we order people to do something, we don't use the word please. But if we use please, this is a request. Please, said Paul. Paul asked me to help him take a photo with the giraffe. Okay, here is another example of changing pronouns. So the verb here, so let's break it down. The verb here, help, is changed to help. And in the original sentence, help me take a photo. So who is me? Who is me here? Okay, me is Paul. Okay, so Paul asked me. But who is me in here? Okay, the me in this sentence is referring to the hypothetical me. The person that Paul was talking to. Because we know that in this sentence, Paul was definitely talking to someone. Right? So the someone became me here. And when Paul said, help me, of course, that means helping him. Okay? Paul asked me to help him take a photo with the giraffe. So the pronoun stuff, they can be quite complicated, okay, very confusing. But if you think about it, the people involved in the conversation, in the sentences, then you can make sense out of it. Okay, you can make sense of it. Paul asked me to help him take a photo with the giraffe. The last category, reporting advice. So advice is the mildest, because this is advice. Okay? When people advise you to do something, you don't have to do it. They are just suggestions. They are just suggestions. Okay? Advice, remind, recommend. These are very mild words. Okay. Examples. Visit the pandas when you go to Ocean Park, said Mandy. Okay, so what is the situation here? Probably Mandy knew you were going to visit Ocean Park. So she suggested that maybe you should take a look at the pandas. Maybe you should check out the pandas. Okay. So this is just recommendation. Mandy recommended me to visit the pandas when I go to Ocean Park. Okay. Obviously, Mandy was talking to me, okay, when you go to Ocean Park. So you has to be changed to I. Okay. And of course, visit is the verb here, right? And visit has to be changed to visit. Okay. Mandy recommend me to visit pandas when I go to Ocean Park. Alright, sometimes we need to report negative orders, negative requests, negative advice. So negative, that means not, right? So what is a negative order? Don't feed the sheep. Don't do something. That's a negative order. Don't feed the sheep, said the guide. Okay. But of course, if you go to Japan, if you go to Nara, you can feed the deer. Okay, some of you might have been there. Okay, I've been there, and you can feed the deer. So don't feed the sheep, said the guide. The guide told us not to feed the sheep. Okay, so because this is not a verb, okay, we cannot use don't feed. We cannot say told us don't to. Okay, don't do that. Okay, since this is not a verb, we don't need don't here. Okay, we don't need to use do. Okay, we don't need to use don't. Okay. Simply adding not told us not to feed the sheep. Okay. And very similar, for request, please don't look up the answer online, said Miss Chen. Okay. Because we have please here, so we don't use told, we don't use order, we use requested. Miss Chen requested us not to look up the answer online. Again, don't became not. Okay, look became to look. Okay, advice. Okay, don't get too close to the deer, said the guy. The guy reminded us not to get too close to the deer. Okay. Don't became not, and get became to get. Okay, and by the way, we don't have deers. Let me tell you this. We don't have deers. Okay. Deer is already plural. So let's revise them again. Okay. Reporting verbs. Okay, they have different meanings. They have different degrees of formality. Okay. But I would use words like smile, strong to describe them. So you have to use the most suitable reporting verb. Yeah, how do we report orders, requests, and advice? We use reporting word plus two infinitives. Okay. If it is negative, we use not. And in the end, I want to show you all these, reporting verbs. And these verbs is something that you need to memorize. Okay. Of course, there are other reporting verbs, but these 9 reporting verbs will be the basic ones that you need to remember. Okay, that's the end of the video. If you have a question, please ask me. If you have technical problems with doing your homework, please let me know. I'll try to help as much as I can. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you.